Try to take it around the corner here. So we've got the engine out. You know, it somewhat fits in there. It's just a little overhang. I can live with that. Using some good high quality dollar store clamps. And I just discovered that it did not come with a bolt for the end of the crankshaft. And I can't get the one off the other engine. So gonna have to get a new one of those. But that looks like where it's going to be roughly. This side's great. It'll stick out more when I get a cover on it. This side's a little bulky, but we'll move the gas tank and extend the foot pegs.
E-bike. I'm swapping the engine. The engine I did.
Swapping the engine on my e-bike.
Yeah.
Logic is failing me. These little mounts were only one hole lined up with the old one. So I took some chalk that I just threw under my drill there, and I basically just pushed it down through enough to get some of the chalk dust on there, and I took a Sharpie and dotted it out. Center punch, then used 3 different sizes. It's up to nearly 3/8. I can't remember what the sizes I'm at right now, but it's very, very close. It's next size down. That hole, that slot, and these 2 holes are what we're using now. We've got this on here. We welded that one up, and welding onto this tubing was a pain in the ass, but it sort of worked. It's plenty strong enough for a tensioner. Chain's doing good. The chain looks like it's in line fairly well. The engine's symmetrically non-existent.
Well,
It's sticking out the side, but
is there any way to get it in line?
once we put the clutch guard on this one,
The clutch guard.
oh! Once we put that on there, then it'll be good. All right,
Oh, that is really stiff.
we're rolling. It's the maiden voyage.
Is this supposed to be on anything?
That's a good question.
Oh yeah, that's the kill switch that was on there before.
So this has nothing. You
Not
can't
right now.
stop it.
It'll be hooked into that. Okay, Patrick, try to take it around the corner here. It's just smoke. Trade me. Okay, Patrick. What just happened here?
Possible burnout of the clutch and chain slippage.
Yeah, the clutch is getting toasty, but it's all back together.
It's held together by zip ties.
There's so much mud out back there that you can barely keep this upright, even with the engine off. And now it's getting into the chain and clogging everything up.
Oh yeah.
Let's try it again.
Probably eat more shit.
Patrick just loosened up. He just lubricated the handle.
It's no longer, you get about that much, you get full rotation now. It's gonna be dangerous.
We'll try her. Okay, just got back out here this morning. Got a lot of stuff to clean up here, but as you can see, there's a crap load of mud all over everything here. Perhaps not the best conditions to test this in, but we noticed we had a slight chain derailment issue. So that's something that we've got to fix. This clutch was getting quite toasty. But I mean, it was still working every time we hooked it back up, so that's okay. But I think there's just way too much mud in the chain right now. Because this kept hopping off both the front and the back. Like, there was nothing. There was, like, look at this. And all crap trying to go into the chain there. I think it was just sucking up too much stuff. It's nothing but pure frickin' mud back there, so yeah. I think this will work alright. I did discover a new way to hook up the throttle, so that way it's a little bit better than what I currently have. Right now I've just got on the engine mounted throttle, I've just got a right there. I've got 2 zip ties, and I just took the wire, put it through one of those holes, folded it back on itself, and zip tied it. And then I took a spring and hooked it onto one of the slots in the exhaust. I don't think that that's really the way that I want to keep it. But I did some research, and if I take this air box off, there should already be some spots that are meant to mount the throttle cable onto this throttle lever. So yeah, that's the disc brake unit. I think it'll work good. It's just it's not, centrifugal clutch is not meant for a hill like this right away, and a steeper little hills in the back, and a crap load of mud. That's what that's meant for. And as you can see, she was a muddy one. Okay, new idea. Because this chain is way too loose, even when I had, I don't know where it went. Oh, it's probably still hot. When I had this welded to the top of that little bracket there to raise it up, the thing was still too close. Well, first of all, I was getting close to here, but then it was still too far away from adjusting this up enough. Like, this is almost to the point here where we could take another link or 2 out of it. But since it's not even done stretching yet, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount this vertically. How should I do this? Something like that. And then I can slide it up and down. And I'm going to prevent it from sliding back down under the pressure. There was this little screw. It would stop it from sliding back. It goes in just like that. I'm going to toss this like that. And it's going to go vertical like that. So here's the old way. So I had the throttle cable just, zip tied and taken up to there. But I brought it in around here and then just hooked it around that, which you know, right there. There's my little spring working away. Now, I saw a video last night, and somebody said that this was actually ready in the other way for hooking it up like to a throttle. So I think we gotta bring that cable over to this. Yep. Yeah, that one there. Because there is a hole in it. And then we can run it back underneath there and then out. So that's good. Oh wait, there's even a slot for it back here. Right there. Sweet. Okay. I had to maintain the little spring tensioner that I made back there. That little spring just wasn't cutting it. But I may have this hooked up backwards from what it's meant to be. But my throttle cable isn't long enough to come around and then feed in through the back. So instead of having it pulling on the lever, I'm having it pulling against the actual mount bracket here. So what I did was I butted the cable up through that hole, and then I clamped it around and clamped it down underneath that. So now if I twist the cable, that's what we get. So it works pretty good, and it's a lot easier to twist. Got that minimal clearance. Okay, that was wild. I had the tensioner set too tight and it snapped the chain. Then I realized my little bracket that I'd welded on, as I had welded it, it had twisted, so that probably was half the cause of the chain breaking as well. But now, got a pair of pliers and bent that bracket the right way, and cleaned off the chain with a wire brush. It's getting a little dirty again, but yeah, it works, and the throttle is so much better than before now that it's actually hooked up properly down in there. Something I might end up doing here, down here, that is riding excessively close to the framework there. So I'm thinking I might, I don't know, move that bar somehow. Maybe take this and sort of, there's lots of room back under there by the tire, so maybe I'll tip this upright a little more, and that might fix the problem of that. But I mean, really it's not hitting it, so that's okay. The clutch, you can smell it, but you know, the clutches are like $50. Torque converters are like $200. So I can go through a couple of clutches before I actually get up to the cost of a torque converter. Probably once this one burns out, then I'll toss a torque converter on here. But for now, you know, it's just cheap fun. So yeah, the whole chain, the engine, the clutch, the chain brake tool, and I also picked up some little welding clamps or magnets. All of that, the whole cost of this whole thing plus a couple of extra things was like under $200. So it's not super high quality, but at the same time it's pretty freaking cheap.